Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I'm with a pivotal female figure in the Seattle music scene. She has a hip-hop duo with Blimes. She was part of Moor Gang. Is Moor Gang still... Would you guys consider guys is still a thing?
We're still a gang.
Yeah.
We're family.
We're in the gang
family,
still,
yeah.
right? And recently she's also become a comedian. She's an R&B artist and hip-hop artist. It's my pleasure to introduce Gifted Gab.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. So I feel like it's a mystery. I don't want to make this too much of a joke because it's a little bit serious, but not too serious. But I feel
I'm never
like
serious, so please go ahead.
I feel like this is just something I have to cover because, like, the name, right? So
Yeah.
you've already had a lot of conversations before about Gift of Gab and
Yeah.
Gifted Gab. But unfortunately, in 2021, he passed away. And I wonder if you felt like something like leaving your body a little bit when, like, he left this plane. Did it hit you? Like, when you figured out that he passed away, did that affect you in any way, do you feel like?
Damn, that's a good question. I don't want to sound heartless, but like I didn't feel anything like leave my body or anything. It was sad because I'm like of the hip hop sphere, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a student of hip hop. Like I'm a quote rapidy rapper, you know what I'm saying, as some people would refer to me. But so I get it. The super hip hop guys, like the ones that be wearing like the common hats and shit like that. Like those ones are very bad it. Like they die for the shit. So I get it. There's some like I'm just this girl, like, you know, obviously I'm a girl, so I'm an idiot. And I'm a girl in hip hop, so I'm extra dumb. Like obviously I don't know who Gift of Gab or any of that is, but you know, he always respected me. Like I knew of him, he knew of me. He liked my work. He fucked with me. Like he had even actually reached out to Slug from Atmosphere and wanted to get in contact with me, and it just never came to fruition. And you know, I'd found out that he was sick, and then you know, some time passed, and then you know, he passed away. But it was one of those things where it's like he was cool with it. Like he wasn't beefing. Like he didn't send, you know what I'm saying, the Calgary to come get me. Like he was fine with it. So it would always just be like, anytime someone has something weird to say, I'd be like, did he send you?
Yeah.
Because why are you going so hard at me when the dude's name, who's it is, isn't even, he's not even fucking tripping like that, you know? So nowadays it doesn't, but it used to bother me a lot when I was, you know, some years ago, but now it don't bother me at all.
But you stuck to your guns, which is cool, because a lot of artists, if there's any similarity, they're like, oh shit, I have to completely change my name.
Well, technically it was when I first came out in technically like 2011, 2012, it was Gift of Gab. Before I put it on any, like, actually, like, on paper.
Ooh, I like your nails, by the way. Those are dope.
Thank you. I do nails as well. I do my nails. Let me preface that. I don't do other people's nails. I do my nails. But, what was I saying?
It bothered you. Your name was changed.
Oh yeah. It was originally Gift of Gab. I can't remember. One of the homies gave me the name, and then I changed it to Gift a Gab, like Gift UH, and I was kind of dumb. I stuck with that for a little, and then it just kind of transformed to Gifted Gab, because technically, if you say Gifted Gab, most people just say Gift of Gab. Like a lot of people, the ED is like lost on people for some reason. And then nowadays, I'm getting to the point where now it's kind of just Gab or G, because personally, I'm just tired of. I hate repeating myself.
Oh,
like
gosh,
that's a huge pet peeve of mine. Like I just make it easy. So anytime somebody sees me, I'd be like G, like the letter. Like it's just easier to say, or Gab. My name is Gabrielle. Like these are all variations of my birth name. So, you know, as names and stuff do, they kind of change, and as you get older and stuff like that.
On that topic of like maybe even like just saying who you are over and over again. Do you ever feel like, even for you personally, that you have to like continuously like prove yourself to people? Like I feel like I make jokes with my friends who aren't in the industry that I'm like, once you're in the industry, it's like having to prove yourself over and over again until you're like undeniable.
Yeah. I mean, I do get tired of it, but I haven't really been, how do I put this? Because I've been in the game like for 10 years straight now, I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot, you know, I always learn from other people's mistakes rather than their, because wins, that's so, like, how people win and come up is so different for everybody, but fucking up is across the board. You feel me? So if I watch how you fuck up, as long as I don't do that, I'll be good. So that's kind of gotten me through life and music. Like, just whatever you did, I'm gonna do exactly the opposite of that and learn from that, which has always served me right. So just with being in the game and just seeing how stuff goes, I noticed that, especially in LA, I'll say specifically in like LA, it's a music town. It's a business town. Like, you move there to get something out of it and you get the fuck up out of there once you get what you got, you know? And a lot of people down there that are, I won't say a lot of them because I met a lot of great people that are just from LA and California, but there's some that in the industry that once they know, like, I'm one of those people that I'll be in a room full of musicians, but I'm not going to say I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I will say it just depends on the energy I'm getting and how I feel about you. But these days I kind of flip it. Before, you want to prove something like, yeah, I'm a rapper, I make music, wooty wooty whoop.
Yeah.
And then now people have like a already have a notion of you. Think they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, what they could get out of you, what you can do, whatever. Nowadays, I do the opposite. I just let you meet me. You know what I'm saying? And more often, like, not to toot my own horn, but I have a great personality. Like, I'm a very likable person and pleasant person to be around. So more often than not, like, people just kind of like me just for being me. And you find out I also make music, but like, I really make music. Like, I'm not one of these but like, I really do this shit. And then it kind of just puts the icing on the cake and, gets me a whole lot further. But, people they find out what you do, and that once people figure out what you do, they use that, like, that's the catalyst of how they're going to treat you. So if I come in talking about I'm a rapper, you're not going to treat me the same as if I came in just a regular person. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen that happen a lot, which is why I'm like, yeah, I like this way, because I come in there and you talking to me crazy or you acting like I'm a janitor or some shit like that. And it's like, why would you just treat somebody like that? Like, you don't even know who I am. Not like I'm just some grandiose person, but like, why would you should treat everybody with respect or the same, or not try to immediately figure out what can I get out of this person, you know? So that's kind of what.
But you probably see that more in LA than Seattle, right?
I mean, up here, everybody knows me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
fair.
saying? Like, everybody knows me. I come home and it's chill. But like, yeah, out there is very much like, I just come into the room just as me. And if the conversation turns to that or something, calls for me to say I'm an artist, then I'll say it. But I don't.
That's cool.
Like, I want to feel you out. I want to see what actually type of person that you are,
So did you feel like you got respect in Seattle before you left Seattle, or do you think it was a kind of a thing where you had to leave for people to really fuck with you? But you were also part of a group, so that might have been a little different.
It's a little bit of both. Being born and raised in Seattle, and actually being from Seattle, like the central district, like I'm really from the town. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember things people don't. I was going places where, other people were taking the bus to get there and going back. No, I lived I'm from the CD, you feel me? So, people just knew me from, the neighborhood and being around and stuff like that. And then, once I made music and then linked up with Moor Gang, you know what I'm saying? We were just kind of like a force to be reckoned with. Like, the Moor Gang era was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that would be another podcast for another day to just specifically talk about Moor Gang era.
I need to have you guys all on. I've had you all on separately.
Yeah, good luck. I mean, you could probably get me, Jarv, and Jesse, but the rest of the guys I can't speak for. But me, Jarv, Nacho, we could definitely figure something out.
Do you connect with Nacho when you're, because he lives in LA too?
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Like, Moor Gang is a family, you know what I'm saying? So when people be like, is Moor Gang still around? Yeah, we still around. Like, we still, it's a family. Like, people, like, everybody in the gang is either like actually blood related or like known each other for, 5, 10 plus years, So we're all a family. But back to your question, I definitely had the love here, and I think that's important. And anytime an artist asks me for advice or anything like that, that's one of the advices I give them is like, you gotta have, if you want to be bigger than your hometown, you have to get love from it first. Like, it's hard. It's got to be difficult. I mean, again, I can't relate, but it's got to be difficult for people that come from a city and then move somewhere and then like they can't really like, not they can't go back home, but like they can't really make money at home, and like people don't recognize them or get opportunities or whatever like that. So I've always gotten love from home, but it seems like once I left town, I noticed that there's this it's, I don't want to call it crabs in a bucket because that's such like a cliche, and I don't even think that completely encompasses what it actually is. But it's like when I left town, it almost seemed like it was a little bit of animosity. Not people saying it out loud, but like you could kind of feel it, like, oh, you left, like you couldn't have stayed, or like, oh, you couldn't blow up in Seattle, or everybody got to run to LA. Like, okay, first of all, I hit my ceiling. Like I did everything I was supposed to do in Seattle, and that's kind of the issue. But I really did everything that I could do in my, what I could do, as you know, not including the things that people wouldn't allow me to do, but everything that I had the power to do, I did. And it's like once you hit that ceiling, you gotta go somewhere else. Like even if you're not an artist, like you should probably want to leave your fucking hometown at some point and see the world. Like the world is bigger than 23rd and Jackson. You know what I'm saying? The world is bigger than, you know, your little block that you're on. And when you really got something, you need to expand. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't always come back home, which is why it never bothered me, because I come home and it's like I never left, you know? I still get the same amount of love and everything. So I'm really glad that like I could always come back home and do some shit, you know?
And I think that's very fair to say, because I think a lot of artists haven't left Seattle and who have been doing it for 10 plus years, and over the course of those years, they've become very jaded, but they still love their music. But this is specifically for bands, I guess. I connect a lot with hip-hop artists, and that's how I got started. But like with bands, at least, when they first started, like, oh, I want to make it. Yeah. And now it's changed to being like, I don't care about making it. I do it for the love. But deep down, they do wish they made it. So it's a little, but a lot of people don't know what the steps are to kind of
Bro,
leave,
it's tough. It's tough, man. Like, I'm a good person to ask advice to if you want real advice, because I'm one of them ones, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Everybody wants to be a rapper, everybody wants to be an artist. They see it on Instagram and social media and see it, and they think that's the norm. Like they think that's, once you do like A, B, and C, you're good. You're gonna be making money. You're good. No, it's not like that. Like it's very, you have to have like such a resilient spirit to be in this game, because I say this actually a lot. I tell people, like, the average human cannot take the amount of letdowns and L's that an artist does. I'm talking, like, you see it all the time. Like, you see people getting pissed off and give up for less. And it's like, imagine doing that for 10 years. Someone telling you no for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Or in between the no's, you get very small, you know, like the losses are great, and then it's those little wins that make it all worth it. And it's almost like an insane thing to put yourself through. Like it's almost kind of torturous to actually put yourself through that. So I tell people, like, you know if this is something that you really want to do, because, you know, everybody's journey's different. Now, obviously, there's some people that, you know, did A, B, and C, and they actually got, you know, garnered some success, whatever in their mind is success. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not relative, but you know, maybe relative. Yeah. But it's just all what you think success is. But for longevity, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is really something you want to do, and like you don't want to work another job, or you want to be creative. Like, it's tough, bro. It's tough. You can't just rely on rapping. Like, that's such a myth. Like, you're not gonna buy a house off a rap. You can, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta have 10,000 hustles. So if you're only good at rap, then
good luck.
Good fucking luck. Like, you better figure out something else, or make that rap, you know what I'm saying, stretch that rap out or something. But yeah, no, you have to have so many, like, that's why you see so many artists and like athletes or whatever, it's endorsements, it's sponsorships, it's all these side things. Like, no one's making money from music. Like, well, all these streaming services, you're getting like 0.00000000003% of a dollar. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not, unless you're like Drake. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even then, he has to, like, you have to have other means of income, or it's not going to, you're gonna, it's not gonna be feasible.
Then even if you're like an industry artist, you can get jaded from making music too. Like, if you're you know, you want to be like, if you love your job, you don't work a day in your life. But if you're solely being an artist, whether it's hip hop, pop, whatever, and you're like, I know the only way I want to make money just from solely music is by doing feature after feature after feature. You'll start to see like some of these features I didn't even want to give out, and then you start being like resenting the things you're putting out, and then that's a whole other snowball, you know?
Oh yeah, it is. And one of my kind of things is I'm not big on features. I don't really like to do features because for one, chasing motherfuckers down is like not my idea of a good time. You know what I'm saying? Having to pester and chase people down for shit. And then, you know, once you add hella other people, it just, you know, then it's just a whole thing. Like I never got into making music to like collab with people. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I never got into music. Like, I want to make music with everybody. No, I just want to make music that I like to make that I think is dope. You know what I'm saying? And it just so happened other people thought it was dope too. So like the way I came into it is kind of the way I still move around. Like, I'm not thirsty to feature with people. Like, I don't, and even then I'm not an email feature type person. Like, I'm one of those, we have to sit down and be in the studio because I can't make music with somebody I don't even like you. Right. You know, like, I gotta know if you a cool person. Like, say we do this song blows up, and now we on tour. Now I gotta be stuck with you, and I don't even fuck with you. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be some type of personal connection there. So the features that I do have are like homies or people, you know what I'm saying, that I know, or I've actually gotten to the studio with these people. And of course, you know, you had those features that I look back on and I cringe, but I know it was like I needed rent paid that month. So I had to do what I had to do. I don't necessarily like this song, but like, shit, it paid my rent. Like, it's a job, you know?
So how did you and Blimes end up connecting? And she's not from Seattle. She's from the Bay.
No, she's from the Bay. She's from San Francisco.
So did you guys meet in LA, or how did that come to be?
No, we actually met in Seattle. We had we have a mutual friend named Gavelin. Shouts out to Gavelin, DJ Hoppa. I'm a big fan of DJ Hoppa's production, and you know, with going down like the DJ Hoppa, Dizzy Wright rabbit hole, I ended up finding Gavelin.
I had Jaron Benton on the podcast.
Fuck with Jared. Yeah, that's the homie. What was I about to say? Found Gavelin's music, really fuck with it, reach out to her. We ended up doing a song together, and Blimes and Gavelin are like best friends. So we ended up just kind of knowing about Blimes through her and vice versa and stuff like that. And also Blimes was a battle rapper, so I seen some of her battles and shit like that. And to this day, neither of us knows or wants to admit who reached out to who first, because she'd be like, you hit me up on Facebook. And I'd be like, that don't even sound like me. Like, you hit me up, you know? So one of us hit the other on Facebook, and, you know, basically we was just chopping it up. And then I think Blimes had hit me and was like, yo, I'm coming to Seattle because Blimes also, she does, production work. She does production work. And so she was in Seattle for, I can't remember what they were shooting. But anyway, she came to Seattle. We ended up linking up. It was funny because it was just like some just regular shit. Like, she came to town and she was just like, hey, you know, let's link. And I'm like, yeah, we can link. I'm about to go to this party tonight, but like, I got errands to run. So if you want to just roll with me. And like, literally I had to go to like the housing authority. I had to like go pay some bills. I had to go by the bed. Like, she's just rolling. I don't even know this girl. Like, this is literally our first time meeting in life. And she's like going with me to like the DSHS office and shit. Anyway, so fast forward in the evening, mind you, RIP 95 Slide. This is when 95 Slide was still open, and it was I can't remember. It might have been the 40 ounce. It might have been the 40 ounce bounce. And you know, we're kicking it, having a great time. Macklemore and that motherfucker. Like, it was just such a Seattle ass night. You know what I'm saying? And the club lets out. We go outside. Anybody that knows 95 Slide knows, because it's the Black and Asian club, there was always fights at the end. So niggas would go to 95 Slide just to see some fights at the end of the night. So in Seattle fashion, there was a fight. But not only was it a fight, it was a fucking brawl, like in the middle of that intersection. And then it started like drizzling. Like, it was kind of beautiful. I'm not going to lie. Like, there was like 30, 40 niggas scrapping in the street. Cars couldn't even drive through. It started raining. You know, Macklemore's on the side like, stop fighting. And somebody was like, shut the fuck up, Macklemore. Like, it was hilarious. And I'm standing there with Blimes like, welcome to Seattle, bro. Like, this is crazy. Anyway, so we're headed to the next little function. We hop in my cousin's car. We're about to ride out. This couple hops in front of the car, like we almost hit them. And so we like popped, like, whoa, what the fuck? And the girl was on her boyfriend's shoulders and like kicked my cousin's car. And before I could even like really process and react to it, Blimes is already taken out the car. So I'm in the passenger seat. I look and I'm like, oh shit, she's already running down the street after these people. So I hop out the car too. I'm chasing after her. It was fun. It's always funny when Blimes tells this story because I was still like running up. So like this portion of the story is kind of like all her. But she said that the girl hopped off of the dude's shoulders and was like way taller than she anticipated. So she's like, oh fuck. So her and the girl are fighting. You know what I'm saying? They're doing their one thing. I'm just standing back, just making sure it's a fair fight. You know, I'm doing my, you know, my referee, like, you know, no below the waist, you know, type shit. But so at one point, like the girl gets blind, she grabs her bun and like knees her in the face. Oh, shit. So which upset me. I'm like, oh, okay, we're playing dirty. Bet, tag me in because I play dirty. So she literally tags me in. I go and now I start beating this girl up. So now I'm fighting her. At one point, I throw her onto this car and I'm punching her on the on top of the car. And I look in the car and there's people in the car like they were finna drive away. But now I'm using that car as like kind of a weapon. I'm slinging this bitch all over the car. I think I like snatched off the mirror on the. It was crazy. At one point, the boyfriend finally, tries to, I guess, do something and like runs up like he's about to hit me from the back. And one of the homies is basically like, not Gab, socks this nigga, knocks him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those stories where people are like, yeah, right. But like, bro, there's hella witnesses there. Yeah. And the other night after Jarv's show, a couple of the homies that were there, like we were talking about it. And he was like, yeah, bro, I was the one that socked that dude. And I was like, oh shit, that was you. Like, damn, I need to get you on a podcast or something so you could tell it. Because people be thinking we straight did this shit up. And it is very much a real story. But anyway, after the fight, we ended up, getting up out of there. And I remember we like slapped fives and we went to Rancho Bravo and got tacos.
Hell yeah.
And then we just been cool ever fucking since.
Damn.
And then after that, we just stayed in touch, just some awesome cool shit. We never even talked about music or nothing. Just like, the first time you meet somebody and y'all fight together, like now y'all family. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We might as well like slit our palms and put them together and now we blood sisters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up just staying in touch. And then she hit me again and was like, yo, I'm coming to Seattle again. But this time her dad, shouts out to OG Randy Johnson. Her dad is a blues musician. And so they were basically shooting a documentary about her dad. And so she was coming up here to shoot that. And she hit me, was like, yo, I need, for one of the shoots, I need a studio and some beats. And I was like, perfect. I hooked them up with one of the homie studios that was like right around the corner from where I lived. I grabbed a hard drive that had some beats and went over there. We ended up picking the Come Correct beat. And I'm thinking we're just doing this for like B-roll. Like that's what she had said. Like we just need some shit for, the documentary. Yeah. So I'm thinking we're just fucking around. You know what I'm saying? Like we basically kind of like freestyled that whole shit. Like we were literally just fucking around. That is, to this day, people be like, I love Come Correct. And I'd be like, that is not all my best work. Like we were literally bullshitting. Like literally B-roll bars, okay? But anyway, we did the song. The homie ended up mixing it and was like, yo, y'all should put this out. Like this shit is actually dope. So we dropped it. It really didn't do shit. Fast forward, Blimes comes back to Seattle because we're like, we might as well just shoot the video. And it was my idea to shoot it in front of the Promenade, which was literally closed down. Like, I want to say we shot Come Correct and a week later they demolished it. So technically the Come Correct video is like the last documentation of, the Promenade
so
in
I'm
the
young.
city.
What is the Promenade?
The Promenade, it was right there on 23rd and Jackson across from the Starbucks that's still there. Okay. And it was the Red Apple. And then you had like the Western Beauty. And you had like, Taco Del Mar. Like it was a plaza. Oh, okay. Like grocery store with like the plaza. But like it was such a staple in the set. Like it's been there as long as I've been alive for 31 years, you know what I'm saying? So it was important for me to like showcase that and have that in the video. And then once we dropped the video on like a Friday, I think, we dropped it on a Friday night. And by Saturday, I think there were like 10 million views just on Facebook.
Holy shit.
And then like I had to like deactivate all my social, like I had to re-download my Twitter because it was so like,
damn,
I never experienced, viralness like that. Like I literally had to delete it off my phone and reinstall it because it like crashed. It was so much going on. So yeah, across the board, like from not even like YouTube, like still on YouTube, I want to say it's maybe like 2 million views, maybe 3 now. But like between Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, like there's probably like 20 plus million. Just, I don't know how the fuck it happened, but shit blew up from there, clearly, you know?
And that's your origin story then.
It is, but it's not. It is because like that's the first like song or thing I did that actually really like hit like that. But it's always interesting to me to see what things hit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like up until Come Correct, like I have a whole discography. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't just start making music. Like I have three EPs or 2 EPs or something, 4 albums, like a remix album. Like, you know, I have a
chopped and screwed.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I actually have a body of work, but to see that song blow up, I honestly think it played more because again, we dropped the song and it didn't do shit. And then we dropped the video. I think the visual aspect of it is what made it that way because you gotta think, you see this black girl and this white girl together rapping, you know what I'm saying? And the white girl is gay and the black girl is not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such an odd couple. You know, and we're like actually spitting. Like I think it was more so just like the look of it all that kind of like captivated people. Like, what the fuck is like, how the fuck did y'all meet? You know what I'm saying? Boy, would you like to know? Like, you know, so I think that's kind of what played into it. But you know, we definitely have that love and appreciation for the art. Like you could tell, like we're not just fucking around with this shit. Like we know what we're talking about. Like we did our due diligence before we even did all this stuff. So we always gotten a lot of respect from the OGs. Like, you know, fucking Method Man, Tech Nine, you know, Atmosphere, you know what I'm saying? Like all the OGs really love us. And those are the people I actually look at as peers personally. Like those guys are my peers.
That's super dope. So did that video affect Moor Gang at all? Like did it help shine a light on them at all? Or was it kind of more of a solo thing that just projected you and
it was
Blimes?
definitely a solo thing. Moor Gang kind of like quote unquote fizzled out long before Come Correct. I want to say probably like the last maybe 5-6 years or so. Could be a little more. Yeah, maybe like 5-6 years. Just because, you know, first of all, I was the only girl in the group of, at one point, I think it was 13 of us, you know? And then it kind of came down to just really Jarv, Nacho, and I being like the front runners because, you know, I don't blame anybody. I don't have any hard feelings or anything toward anybody. But, you know, life happens. You know, a lot of people just, they didn't see it how we seen it, you know what I'm saying? Or they didn't, their idea of success was drastically different than, you know, mine. Or, you know, some people decide to have families and get jobs, you know what I'm saying? Like it's life. I get it. I totally get it. But definitely it was Jarv, you know what I'm saying, Nacho and I that really kind of held it down.
Were you guys closer than the rest of the group? Would you say, like, were you the three that would like connect more than the rest, or were you guys all like super close, or was it kind of cliquey in some ways? It was
cliquey in some ways because there was there was like maybe 1 or 2 members that other members had brought in. You know what I'm saying? They were like, I don't know this nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? We could get to know him, but like again, everybody in this has some type of connection to somebody, you know what I'm saying? So you got like Nacho and Juju who are blood cousins, you know what I'm saying, as well as Malcolm. And then you got like a couple other people that are like God brothers. Like everybody has like is familial or whatever the fucking word is. But
words, am I right?
Fucking words. So, but Jarv and I have always been like this. Like that's my dog.
So during the time Moor Gang fizzled out, were you just consistently releasing music, or do you have to like take a career path switch until the Blimes thing? Or
no, I was still consistently making music. And also you got to remember, like we were a fucking wild bunch. Like I don't think people realize that like there's a lot of things. I'm sure there's still things in place now because of us. You know what I'm saying? Like whether good or bad. Like we definitely made our mark. Like there was I want to say it was Folk Life. It was Folk Life and they had actually booked us to perform, but they said that Nacho couldn't. Like they somehow 86'd him or something. Like Moor Gang can perform, but Nacho can't. And we're like, well, we're not fucking performing. Yeah, like Folk Life, fuck out of here. And then some lady at I can't remember what it was, either Seattle Weekly, Seattle Time, one of them. Some lady like I don't know what made her say this shit, but she said something like, called Moor Gang rapey. She called us rapey, which I was like, bitch, you can't be saying shit like that. First of all, there's been no acting like that's, don't put that on us. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, we were like the bad boys or, you know what I'm saying, of the town. So like, I feel like we were definitely before our time, because if we came out now, I think things would have been a lot differently. Like
You're canceled already.
Probably. Either kid, but nowadays people love that wild shit. Like we were doing wild shit in a time where it was like, ooh, that's still kind of, like you'll get 86 for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays people like that shit. But it's like, we definitely Moor Gang, and I would say even every single member in there, like a lot of people like kind of need to pay homage, you know what I'm saying? 100%. In a lot of ways. And if not pay homage, like just recognize, like niggas put in a lot of fucking work, you know what I'm saying? And not just the people before it, like it's each generation, each decade, each era, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like the Geos and the Physics and Macklemore's and, everybody else that like put in work before us. Like this was all, a path, but so I don't know. There's a lot of politics in the shit.
100%. But even though, like, you say, like, your family, and then also with Blimes, like, how do you maintain those, like, positive relationships with Moor Gang and Blimes? Like, that must be kind of difficult. Those are two, like, different entities for sure, but those are still people you're really close with. Like, how do you keep that consistent?
I mean, not at all. I'm such an eclectic person. Like, that's kind of very much my life. Like, there's no rhyme or like, it's organized chaos. Like, to you, this sounds crazy, but to me, it's like, no, that's perfect. Like it makes perfect fucking sense. But no, like again, Moor Gang, aside from music, like me and Jarv and Nacho they're literally texting me right now in the group chat. Like it's family, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Blimes, we're family, like, and they all know Blimes, we all hang out. Like it's the world's crossed for sure.
Hell yeah.
The world's definitely crossed.
So what was it like growing up in the CD? Because I know you're super proud of that, right?
Come on.
Hell yeah.
Can they see it? Probably not. The mic's
I think so. They got it. There we go.
Okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
This is something I made, you know what I'm saying? There's nobody else's. It's just a prototype. People like it. We'll see what's up.
It's dope.
Thanks.
So what was that like? Like, what were your experiences like? Was it, because Seattle is definitely like gentrified over the years. So like, how does that affect you? If that from that being a place that you grew up to, like how has it changed for you?
Oh man, it's definitely a bittersweet when I come home. Like every time I come home, I usually just kind of drive around and just see if shit's still there. You know what I'm saying? And more often than not, it's not, you know? So it's sad, but I feel like everybody goes through that, whether it's gentrification or not. Like people die and people move away and businesses crumble and new things come in. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the part of getting older, but it sucks when you really have those like vivid, fond memories where it's like, bro, this is never gonna happen again. Like even my nieces, they're never gonna experience none of this shit because these things aren't even around, you know? Right. Like I remember I was there the opening when they snipped the ribbon for the Sean Kemp basketball court down in Junkins. Like I was literally there, you know? But growing up in the CD was fucking great. Like I was a hooper, so you know, if anybody remember me from back in the day, you'll see me at Junkins Park hooping all fucking day and then getting my ass whooped when I come home and having to just be like my mom and shit, like not believing, like I'm really outside hooping like all day. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not doing nothing. Like I wouldn't even into none of that shit. I didn't even like boys. Like the only reason I like boys was to play you in basketball and beat you. You know what I'm saying? Like I was really not into like any nefarious shit at all. But you know, I was a super hooper, just, you know, running around the hood. But you know, the CD was great. There's so much like art and just culture and shit like that. And it's just really sad to see now that it's like, I tell people, like, if you haven't been to Seattle in the last, I would say if you were in Seattle maybe in the last like 5-10 years, you don't know Seattle. Like it's not the same. Even like 15-20 years, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not the same because nowadays you only get to experience Seattle within the people. It's not the actual geographical location anymore because what made Seattle is not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? The mom and pop places, the you know, even like the sports camps that they used to have, and like the Emoji Fest back in the day, and you know, even when Ezel's had the, you know what I'm saying, the small chicken strip for like $7, that shit like $18 now. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things that fucking change. So you can't experience Seattle. So you get people that be like, man, there ain't no niggas in Seattle, and there's whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Like, well, yeah, that's what happens with gentrification, you know what I'm saying? That you see, like, me living in LA, it's so funny being that I swear Seattle had to have been like the blueprint for gentrification. Like, I feel like the rest of like the world took note of what Seattle did. And we're like, we want to fuck up our city too. So I think a lot of people seen that. And it's like, I noticed that a lot of pockets in LA, people are just now experiencing gentrification. And it's like kind of funny to me. They'd be like, man, you know, they tearing down my favorite restaurant, and, you know, they changing the streets and whoop-de-whoop. And it's like, damn, y'all just now, and y'all still haven't grasped what gentrification is. You're just mad that things like, it's going to get worse, bro. Everything you thought you loved and knew, and the people, they're all going to go away.
Damn. Yeah.
They're all going to go away because nobody's going to be able to afford it no more, you know? And then now Seattle is technically Federal Way and can't. So like, I get when niggas be like, you know what I'm saying, I'm from Seattle, but I live in Federal Way. Like, it kind of is Seattle now. Like, you're not getting that. You can't come to the city and be like, this is what y'all be talking about. Like, no, you had to be here like 15, 20 years ago, bro. It's not the same. Even the same niggas ain't even there. Like, it can't be the city for real, you know?
Damn, yeah, that happens to every place, huh?
It does.
And then I guess like with social media and as because trends in America honestly pass over to the UK and everything like that. So like, as technology increases, like everything's probably just gonna start looking the same. Maybe geologically, or geographically, it'll look a little bit different. But like,
I mean, you even see that with the architecture.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like, places, Seattle used to have character. Like, now it's just these fucking Lincoln log looking ass house, or like these like modern Lincoln log looking houses with like flats that like it just looks so like medical. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just looks so like bland and like there's no character. Yeah.
It's like, this is for the tech people.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Everyone else, let's move you farther and farther out until we need to take that space up.
Exactly,
too.
right. Because we're coming for that too. But you might have a little bit extra time because we're still working on this area. But don't you worry. We gonna fuck that up too.
That's crazy because I live in Snohomish, right? And the closest city to me, because I'm in the woods, the closest city to me is in Monroe. And like, Monroe's kind of like farmland. Like,
I was about to say, I feel like it's only the prison, huh?
Yeah, and they're literally starting to like put up signs by like the people that grew up in Monroe. They're putting up signs like "Keep Monroe," right? Because they're starting to put up more developments and stuff. And like, literally over the pandemic, they've clear cut so much of Monroe. It's insane to see.
I believe it.
And it's because they're building up, like, I think there's like tech stuff going up in Everett now and stuff like that. So and Redmond as well. And Redmond's not that far away, so it's It's wild to see how that takes over. It's
fucked up because I'm not naive or stupid. Like, I get the economical reasons behind it and shit like that. But it's like, as somebody that's from this place, it's just like, it's very, very sad to see, you know? Like, each time you come home, it feels less and less like you're home, you know?
So what keeps you in LA, and how long have you been in LA?
I've been in LA for 3 years now. I was kind of bi-coastal. Like, I was literally home every single month for the last 3 years, up until the last year, I would say.
Got it.
Just because, you know, airlines, I guess, had to make that money back for the pandemic, because I used to come home 150 easy. You know what I'm saying? Now I got a one-way ticket to come up here this time. It was about $400 just for a one-way. You know, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know about coming home like that till they figure that shit out. But LA's good. It's definitely good for business. Like I said, it's one of them cities you go there to get what you need to get out of it. Like, it would be very strange to hear somebody being like, I want to settle down in LA and raise a family. Like, no. No, you very much go there for your purpose, and then you stay for as long as you can hold out. You know what I'm saying? And then you get the fuck up out of there. And then it's cool to just have like a second home, because like, now I know, I mean, obviously I don't know LA like I know Seattle, but like, you know, I know it enough to always come back here, you know what I'm saying, and know people in areas and shit like that. But LA's cool.
What's your life like in LA? Are you always in studios? Do you have other jobs you're doing, or what's that like?
Well, I'm always in traffic.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm always in traffic. Like, my life is fucking traffic. I'm always in the goddamn car. I feel like that's where I live a lot of fucking times. But you know, if I'm not recording and shit like that, it's very much just like, I'm really just a creative, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of trial and error, trying shit out, linking with new people, seeing if shit works and stuff like that. It's just constant networking, you know? Like, every now and then I have like I'll like break down and get a little side job or something like that. But I fucking hate jobs. Like, my driving force of like being a creative, aside from me just like I'm to the age now, and even then, I've always been this way. Like, if I'm going to have a job or do something like that, it has to be like contingent on my skills. Like, I'm not going to work a job that's like, I got to no, I have skill. Like, let's do a job that I already have the skills for, you know what I'm saying? So like, just getting a job, it just like everybody has their different ideas of hell. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody has their different ideas of hell, and like something that would just be like, I would rather die. You know what I'm saying? Me having getting a square job, I would rather fucking die. Like, I just can't. I'm not built for that. I'm not built for that type of structure. I'm not built for the authority. Like, I've always worked for myself. I've always figured shit out because I've went with my skill set, and that's always seemed to work. So like, working backwards like that for me personally, like that's just not a quality of life for me. So that's the kind of my driving force. But like you had said before, like, you know, you have those people that be like, I don't want to be a superstar anymore. Like, I have no desire. I have no desire to be like, I want to be almost, how do I put it? Like, I want to be as like regular as I can for the rest of my life. Like, I don't have the desire to be, you know, on billboards everywhere and all that. Like, that's not my goal anymore. And nor was that, I don't know if that ever really was my goal. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I made music because it was music that I wanted to hear, you know what I'm saying? And it was, you know, my ideas, you know what I'm saying, coming to light. Like, I'm literally creating something out of nothing and making it a thing that I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm bumping this shit. Yeah. And then it's like, to do that and then to have other people like it and to garner this huge fan base is just kind of like, you know, like, you hear a lot of people say, like, you chose this, you wanted to do this, like, you can't be mad at, like, a lot of time, like, if you're really an artist, you don't choose that. And that's what, like, normies don't understand, which is why I try to stay away from talking about, like, artist relations and politics and, like, behind the scenes and all that shit to, like, normies, because they just don't understand.
I use
like,
that word too, I love that.
You know, like, they just don't understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got, like, this is probably not a great example, but, like, everybody has, like, an uncle, auntie that's just, like, why don't you just do a song with Drake? Like, that's like where they think, like, it's just like, oh, you know what? That's why I'm not where I need to be. Matter of fact, I'm tripping. I should have called this nigga 10 years ago. Like, what? Like, they just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? They just don't fucking get it. So it's like, a lot of times, a lot of us, we did not choose this. This is what we had to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we fucking have to do, because for some of us, that normal way of life, we would rather die. Yeah. You know?
I've been dealing with that with like my friends that I try to introduce to like the music scene, right? Because they expect if I'm going to take them to like a local show, and I'll say it's a local show, they'll be like, this should be completely sold out.
Right.
And people are hanging from the rafters, and sometimes it's not a big crowd.
Yeah.
Or if it's a decently sized crowd, they're still like, what is this type of music? Why is Drake not up next or whatever, you know? So like, I don't.
People do not get it.
Yeah. It's like almost a certain, for specifically local music scene stuff, it's almost a specific type of person that's looking for that stuff to like be interested in. Yeah,
very, very much. And I will say, over the years, there has been like, it's dope to see that even like, there's playlists that has like Seattle music playlist. That was never a thing. Like, not even in the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to say that's something that came out in maybe like the last 5 or maybe about 10, but definitely wasn't 15, 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, there weren't any Seattle music centered things or people actually moving to Seattle for the music. Like, that's honestly still kind of asinine to me personally. Like, why the fuck? And there would be people moving from like Atlanta or New York. Like, why the fuck would you move from a place that has a musical infrastructure to Seattle when it's like, oh, you you really just either you also have a good job, you know what I'm saying, which you don't want to admit to, which is like, bro, everybody got to have it. You can still rap. Like, no one's going to, like, judge you for having a fucking job. You don't make money in rap, so you kind of have to have, you know what I'm saying, something else. But, like, it just blows me when people move here for that, because it's like, oh, poor, you're so naive. Like, you think it's going to be really easy. But then again, sometimes, you know, I think that also happens in a lot of cities. Like, a lot of cities don't necessarily support their own like they should. And then you have outsiders that come in and they're like, oh, we need to, like, bro, you weren't doing none of that shit for these niggas that have been going to these shows before they even got on stage. Right. Like, there's people that were paying their money and supporting the scene, and then now they're part of the scene. It's like, y'all don't even show them any type of respect. You know what I'm saying? But let somebody else come in here and take over the scene, and y'all are sucking their dicks. Like, what is that about? You know? But I think that's everywhere.
But how do you prevent yourself from getting jaded, like, for you specifically, and also even for artists who haven't made it that are still working on it? Like, how do you and how should people, like, stop themselves from getting jaded? Because, like, there's also, like, artists that do make it, and by the time they make it, like, why would I bring someone along when it took me all this time to get here, you know?
I want to say I think some people would probably be like, Gab, you're jaded, but I'm very much just a realist. Right. Like, I'm very much a realist, maybe to, like, a fault sometimes, but, like, I just really, and it took me a lot of years to kind of, like, this whole shit is just trial and error. You're just learning every day. Like, even people that, you know, are in high position, nobody fucking knows what they're doing. Like, they would literally be lying to you if they knew exactly. Nobody fucking knows. Everybody's just kind of winging it for as long as they fucking can. Like, no one's going to school for this shit, and all this shit is nepotism anyway. They're just putting their niggas on, which I get it. You know what I'm saying? So no one really has to have the knowledge or skills. You just kind of have to be a human and just be there. And they're like, you know what, we'll put you on. But it's hard to tell people not to. It just takes time. You know, like you were saying off camera, how most comedians don't do a special till 10 years. Yeah. You know, and I watch In Godfrey We Trust podcast. Yeah. I'm such a, like, I've always had comedy brain. Like, I would never call myself a comedian, but I definitely have comedy brain, you know? And Godfrey always says, and it's funny because he says this shit all the fucking time. I'd be like, bro, drink every time Godfrey says this. But he always says that when he met Seinfeld, you know, Jerry was like, oh, how long have you been doing comedy? And I think Godfrey was like 12 years. And he was like, oh, you're a 12-year-old. That's cute. And that's real. Like, you're fucking 12. You're talking to somebody who's been in this shit for like 30, 40 years. He's a grown-ass man, you know? So it's the same shit in music. Like, people come to me, like, want advice or this and that. And they're like, I just started, or I've been doing this for a couple years. It's like, that's cute. But, like, I'm not really the one to... I don't know what to tell you, because if anything, I'm probably going to discourage you, because I'm going to tell you some real ass shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you some real ass shit. So it's just, you gotta learn the shit. You gotta bump your head hella times. You gotta burn yourself. You gotta just learn. But it's like, you have to take those bumps on your head and those scrapes and then get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that, you know, bump their heads and then for the rest of the time they mad because they bumped their head, or now they blaming everybody for bumping it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take it for what it is. Like, it's all a learning experience. Everybody is learning. So it takes time. Like, trust me, I didn't get, and I'm still working on it. Like, there's still some things where, you know, I won't say them out loud, maybe in the group chat, but, you know, fuck this nigga. Like, these niggas got me put all this work I put, you know what I'm saying? Like, you do feel that way, but you can't make that your personality. You can't make that, like, you know, because, you know, I had to come to those realizations. Like, there was a time where I would, you know, be a little bit too vocal about some things, or maybe nitpick at some shit where it's like, you really didn't even have to call that out, you know? But at the same time, like, I'm very much kind of, I feel like what makes me not become jaded is almost being like a quote unquote, like, unofficial, like, advocate for artists, because I'll never call myself that, because once you do that, it's like they expect hell of you, and it's like, nah, I just speak up on shit that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will literally always speak up on shit that ain't right, and I know for a fact that has hindered my career by calling things out and saying things when, you know, right is right, wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? What you did was fucking wrong, and the people that are doing the wrong is like, bitch, how dare you? How dare you say that was wrong? You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what? No more for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been a lot of instances where I know that I probably shot myself in the foot, but it was like, I don't want any of that if that's what, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not real. That's not genuine. And what you did was wrong, and I'm gonna speak up about it, because if you're doing that to me, you're doing that to other people. And you're doing that to other people probably for so long that you think it's cool until you run into a nigga like me and I stop that shit. Like, that shit ain't cool. And on top of that, I'm not gonna keep this to myself. I'm gonna say this so now other people will know what to look out for, because, like, you know, I don't want no accolades or no medal for that. It's just do good business. Like, goddamn, it shouldn't be that like, it shouldn't be pulling teeth to genuinely just do good business or stand on your word. Or if you do fuck up, just take accountability. You know, we're all fucking up. I'm not gonna hold you to the fire for it, but to fuck up and then try to, you know, go about it in the weird ways, like, yeah, no, I'm gonna say something, whether this means that I probably blackball myself from this shit, but oh well, I don't want to work with somebody that works like that anyway.
But you inspire people, and like when I first met you, I brought up Mother Nature, and like they had nothing but good things to say about you, and you know, like,
they dope as fuck.
Whether you see
Shouts
it
out to Mother Nature, for real.
And whether you see it or not, you've inspired a whole generation of artists, whether they're men or women, you know, and that's not a lot of people can say that, you know.
You know, I would agree. It took me a while to actually, like, take that and be like, you know what, thank you.
Yeah.
But I think it has a lot to do with, I'm just myself, bro. Like, I'm really myself. For a long fucking time, I gotta, you know, you get a whole bunch of advice, and some of it, it's, you know, just kind of like a grab bag. Some of it is for you, and then some of it's like, this don't really apply to me, you know? And I remember for a while, it was always people were like, you got to build a brand. What's your brand? Like, you got to do a brand. What is you? Like, what is that? Like, bro, me. Like, that's me. Like, that's like so archaic. You know what I'm saying? Having to be like, build this brand. Like, this is, no, I am the brand. Like, I'm the fucking brand. Me, my personality, all this shit. Like, that's the fucking brand. Like, I'm literally an emporium. Like, that's me. I'm a fucking emporium. And an emporium or like a swap meet, you can get anything there. And like, that's what I like. I don't want to, I'm niche. You feel me? Like, you go there to look for shit, and you know, that's the fun in it. You know what I'm saying? Going to a store knowing the shit's gonna be there, yeah, that's cool. But you go to a swap meet like, yo, I want these shoes. And it's like, what's sweeter than like actually going to the place and not knowing if the shoes is gonna be there, and you find the shoes? Like, it makes it even fucking better. Like, that's me. Like, I'm a fucking emporium. Like, I bring you shit that you didn't even know that you even fucking needed. You know what I'm saying? And I come with a whole lot of shit. And like, you know, one day I'm rapping, the next day I'm singing, the next day I might be cracking jokes, the next day I'm drunk. Like, it's just a whole lot. But like, that's my brand. You know?
Yeah. Let's touch on your comedy real quick. What got you into that?
Like I said, I've always had comedy brain.
Yeah.
I've always had comedy brain, and I have a bunch of comedian friends. I'm such a movie buff. I'm a stand-up buff. Like, I just love, like, I'm just a ball of like useless pop culture information.
Same,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I just know so much shit that's like, unless I went on like Who Wants to Be a Million, like, none of this information will really like serve me for real. Like,
That's crazy.
You know, or it just makes me look cooler, more well-rounded. Like, oh, you know about that, you know? So I've always been a fan of comedy, and I always knew I was funny, you know? But it was one of those things where it's like, social media definitely made it to where everybody feels that they can do something just because they just did it. Like, does that make sense? My grandma used to have a saying where she'd be like, you give a nigga a lasso, he want to be a cowboy. Like, you just be like, if some dude were to just walk in here and see all this, he would be like, I'm going to start a podcast today, and it's going to be the best. Like, bro, it doesn't... Just because you know what I'm saying? Like, just anybody could just say they want to do something. Like, I want to fucking... I don't know, be like a biologist or something. I can't just walk in there and be like, I'm doing this now. Like, I am. Matter of fact, respect me. Like, and that kind of what it be. Like, niggas will just pick up some shit, and it's like immediately they want the accolades of like already putting in their 10,000 hours and all this shit. Like, bitch, no, that is not how it works. We don't just, you know, like, you actually have to put in work. And I respect comedians in the art form and shit too much to call myself a comedian. So like, I'm tinkering with it. Like, I don't limit myself. You know, again, that goes with my emporium shit. Again, I'm doing comedy today. Maybe tomorrow I might be a tattoo artist. Like, I have way too many skills, you know what I'm saying? But I like, I just did my first like actual stand up.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Shouts out to Dewa. She has a I think it's a monthly. I think she does it monthly or maybe bi-monthly. I don't know, but it's called D's Nuts, and it's at the Crocodile at the Hereafter Comedy Club downstairs.
I'm gonna have to check that out actually.
You should. It was a great fucking time. Dewa's fucking hilarious.
Do you go to any of the comedy clubs in LA?
All the time. Like that's my get down.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
always at the fucking comedy shows. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of the shows. Now a lot of the comedians are like my friends. Like I just go to support them and see them. And, you know, it's also great just going to a show. Like I go by myself. Like that's one of my, I just have fun doing that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Was it nerve wracking?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm used to the stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm used to the stage, and I'm used to just talking shit, you know what I'm saying, cracking jokes. Like before I even went up there, I have like a couple 5-10 minutes already written out. Like I have notes full of voice memos full of jokes. Like this is something that I've wanted to do, but it's like I didn't really know how to pull the plug or start. So like super shouts out to Dewa, because she just like DM'd me because I had posted on my story like, hey, everybody, I'm coming back home. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to work, link up, whatever, like hit me up. And she hit me and she was like, you want to try stand up? And I just immediately was like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then just like didn't even think about it. Like just do it. So like that was kind of the opportunity that I needed. So I'm looking forward to trying to get, because I definitely want to do it in LA. Like I think it was easy to do it here. Like I'm not lost on the fact that like it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. And just because I did great the first time does not mean that I'm going to do great the second, third, fourth, fifth, you know, up to whatever time. So
that's so exciting. Like, do you relate any of your like musical writing to being able to do comedy writing? Yeah.
In terms that I'm such a kind of a chaotic writer in a sense, like things come to me in life. You know what I'm saying? For me to like actually sit down in the studio, it would take me a whole lot longer to come up with some shit. But like me I don't know what it is about driving, but like every time I'm driving, I always come up with shit.
Because you got a lot of time in traffic.
Yeah. Time in traffic, or just like, I don't know if anybody else can relate, but like I disassociate a lot. Like a lot. Like I'm a disassociator. So I feel like a lot of times I disassociate when I drive, which is kind of crazy because it's like I know I'm driving. Like I'm not driving crazy, but it's like I'm kind of not there. Like I'm there, but I'm not. Like the lights are on, but I'm writing in my head, like I'm not fucking there. So like a lot of times I come up with shit while I'm driving or just walking that, like, and it's the same with jokes. Like it's just experiencing life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not one of those that could just, I usually say that like I'm kind of a hard artist to support and love because I don't put out music as often as, you know, some other people's favorite artists. Like I actually have to experience shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't just, it's not going to be nothing I'm proud of if I just had to do it. Like if I'm gonna do that, then I will do sync work. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's for. Like actually writing shit intentionally for like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a show or for a movie or for something like that. That's cool because you get in a bag for it. But like just to when I'm like actually creating an album or music, like this is what I do. So I have to like actually experience shit. So it's like, you know, when people be like, any more new music? Is there any new music? Like, I'm doing good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, or actually, I'm not doing great at all. I'm actually doing fucking horrible. And you're asking me, when am I going to make some new music? Are you going to Venmo me some shit? Because again, it goes back to like, people are just so ignorant as to like, they think that like studios are like libraries or something. Like you could just go in there and then record and you just press a button and then a song pops out of the machine. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like it costs money. It takes time. Like you think that somebody's just gonna mix and master it for free? Do you even know it mix and matter of fact, we're cutting this conversation because this is too much shit I have to explain to you, and you don't do this and you're a normie. So are you watch a fucking YouTube video or a documentary?
Are you guys signed at all? Like, or do you have any deals, or are you guys like independent, or how does it work? Or is it different from being Gifted Gab and Blimes and Gab? Are those two different entities?
Definitely two different entities. You know, you got Gifted Gab, you have Blimes, and you have Blimes and Gab. You know, Blimes has a whole career and discography just like I do before I even knew she existed on this earth. So we definitely have our different things. But the Blimes and Gab thing, we did have we had a distribution deal with Sony Orchard. before the pandemic, but the pandemic really it's like beating a dead horse at this point. Be like, the pandemic really fucked shit up, but like it really fucked shit up. Like we lost the deal because of that, in the sense that, you know, it's in the pandemic. Sony Orchard is a subsidiary of Sony, so it's, you know, it doesn't have the whole thing like, you know, Sony would. It was like not a whole lot of people. It was a smaller office, and, you know, a lot of people couldn't be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just one of those things. Like, a lot of things just kind of fell through, and they ended up dropping a lot of artists because they didn't have the manpower, or the finances or anything anymore, which really put a wrench in things for the Blimes and Gab shit, because we had a budget when we had that. So after we lost the distribution deal, we had to pay shit out of pocket, and we're in a global pandemic, and we just dropped an album that now we can't tour. So like everything all the work and shit that we put into the album, almost, I never like to say that, you know, it was a loss or anything like that, because we still put out a body of work that people still listen to and stream. Like, we have Method Man, Bahamadia, Jay Park. We have heavy hitters on the album, and it took so much time, and like, goddamn, I can't even tell you how much, you know what I'm saying, went into making that project, to then, once it's finally out to the world, you can't do any of the fucking shit you're supposed to. We couldn't tour it. We were even gearing up, talking about an international tour. We couldn't even like do Sway. Like, we couldn't do shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it really like was really fucked up. And then even Blimes and I, we had 2 seasons of a scripted comedy written, executive produced by Nelson George. T-Pain loved the idea. He was ready to get down with it. Everything was, you know what I'm saying? But then there was a writer's strike around the same time as the pandemic. So not only was it like kind of not far-fetched, but it was a lot more difficult to pitch a show at that time. But then now writers ain't writing shit. So now no one's producing anything. So there was a minute, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning of that pandemic where, you know what I'm saying, a lot of, you know, normies and people were like, why isn't there shit coming out? Or why isn't there? Because they're standing on what they deserve more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was just like, couldn't make up how terrible timing it was for shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, 'tis life, and maybe it was, you know, nothing is ever by just like complete mistake. So it was probably a reason for that. And like, it's not like I completely fell off, but it was like, we're to the point now, it's kind of to the point now where you kind of are starting over a little bit. And it's a really very humbling, but at the same time, it's like, it's almost like a rebirth, because everybody knew me as a rapper. And it's like, I'm not a rapper. Like, even when I was rapping, I've never been a rapper.
You're an emporium.
Yeah, I'm an emporium. I'm an entity. Like, I don't just rap. Like, rapping gives you, when you hear rapper, you automatically have a picture in your head. You know, and I'm not that. I'm not any of those things. Like, I don't really talk about those things. I don't have those type of fit. Like, I don't even like the Gotti shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm nothing that like a quote unquote rapper is. So it's nice to, it's very bittersweet to having this kind of rebirth, to be like, you're not a rapper. Like, you do hella shit, but like, girl, what do you want to do? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always going to rap. I'm always going to make music. That's never going to be something I'm not going to do. But like, music has always been the catalyst. You know what I'm saying? I'm a writer. Like, I write. Like, that isn't for music. I want to write shows. Like, I don't really want to be the forefront anymore. I don't want to be like the star, because you don't get creative control being in front of the camera. I want to create the world. I don't want to be in the world. Yeah. I want to create the world. So that's where I'm at now. So I'm really just trying to figure out, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to do voiceover, which I really love? Do I want to do show writing? Do I want, you know, I got to figure out, because I could do them all, but like, you have to figure out one. You know, you got to figure something out. So
yeah, well, I'm excited for your comedy, see where that goes. But it seems like the world is your oyster.
It really is, bro. Yeah. It is. It could be a little overwhelming, but like, I wouldn't do this shit over. I wouldn't change nothing that's ever happened, you know?
Well, I'm happy you finally came on. You definitely inspire me. I know this episode will inspire others as well. And,
I hope so. Or people would be like, damn, she is a negative Nancy.
Oh my God.
Like, nah, I keep it real. Like, if you want to know the real, I'm your girl. If you want to hear all that bullshit, ask anybody on Instagram.
No, it's a nice change of pace. I don't know if you've ever checked out the Greg interviews I've done, but he's a ranter. I will say you're not a ranter like
I'm
Greg.
kind of a ranter.
It's more it's more calming though a little bit, you know.
I always circle back. That's my thing.
That's
Ranting is a straight line, but like I always circle back to what we were originally.
Yeah.
I always get back there. You might take the scenic route, but I'm always gonna get back to what we was talking about.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You need to create a podcast. Have you like had a podcast before? Like had
kind
your own?
of. I fucked around with it. It's one of those things like I'm good like this, like by myself. Like even when the pandemic, I was doing a lot of at-home concerts, which I fucking hated, and I'll never fucking do that shit again. I hated it, bro. It was so dumb. Like, first of all, it wasn't even like, because it was a pandemic and like technically you're doing it in your house, people would be like, it was like they didn't have to pay you or have to pay you even remotely close to what your fee is. But it's like, not much really changed aside from like the actual location of it, but like I'm literally still performing, you know what I'm saying? But like it was just dumb, and like having to look at a phone and like perform, and like after you're done just pretend people are clapping. Like it was, I hated it. I didn't like it the fuck at all. So I don't know if I could, trying to figure out my podcast format, because I'm really good at bouncing off, you know what I'm saying? Not just kind of just speak, like then I would just go on Instagram Live every day if I was gonna do that.
Got it.
So trying to find like a good co-host and format and shit like that. But I am definitely made for podcasting.
I'm a podcast producer, so, and look at this, is a whole multimedia studio. So if you're ever in Seattle,
yeah, you're my guy. We're gonna talk more on that. We're gonna get this up and running.
100%. Well, with that, is there any advice that you have for up and coming artists, creators, influencers?
If I had one piece of advice to give a creative, I would say, man, if creating is what you want to do, you really got to do it. You know what I'm saying? You really got to do it. You got to do your due diligence. That's all I can really say. Like, it's kind of self-explanatory and don't really need to go into a whole, if this is what you gonna do, really do the shit.
Yeah.
Don't play around with it. There's too many people playing around with it, and the real can see that very easy.
Yeah.
So if you really want to be a part of this shit, really do it, because then you're gonna attract the people that really do it, and that's, gonna get you to where you want to be. So don't be out here just bullshitting. There's plenty. We need more refrigerator repairmen. We need more people that build tables. Not everybody has to be a fucking rapper, you know what I'm saying, or a creative. But if it's really in you, you'll know.
Yeah, 100%.
You'll fucking know.
And is there anything you want to promote? I don't know. Have you dropped your set on YouTube yet, or is it?
I'm going to. I'm actually waiting until I get back to. I get back to LA tomorrow, where my whole setup is. But yeah, it'll be on YouTube this week. I don't really have too much coming up to promote. I guess technically, I have nothing to promote. I'm literally going on tour. I'm literally going on tour in October. Well, Blimes and I are going on tour with Atmosphere. Oh. And I think the other opener is Plain Old Bill.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I fucked up your name, bro. But yeah, we're going on tour with Atmosphere in October. There's been 6 dates announced, and I think there's more being confirmed. So yeah, tickets are available right now.
Seattle,
you go to
better be one of the spots.
It's still being confirmed. Right. But it's got to. It's got to. Like, I know it will, but like, it's, you're not a normie, so you understand. There's a lot 100%. That plays into it. But yeah, we're going on tour in October. So like I said, you go to my Instagram, Blimes' Instagram, Atmosphere's Instagram, Rhyme Sayer's Instagram. You'll find, the tickets and everything. And yeah, follow me on social media and stream my shit. Everything is Gifted Gab. On social media, it's Gifted_Gab on all my shits. And whether you listen to from, SoundCloud to motherfucking, I don't know, whatever version of Spotify they have in Africa. Like, Gifted Gab, you'll find me.
Hell yeah. This has been the NAST podcast with
Gifted Gab.
And we did it.